There was nothing unusual about the knocker on Boris Johnson's door, except that it was very large. So it caused him some concern when he turned his house key in the lock, looked up, and saw in the door knocker the face of Donald Trump. It had a strange glow about it, like a radioactive carrot. But as Boris looked fixedly at the phenomenon, it was a door knocker once more.
Humbug.
Boris went inside and shut the door behind him. He sat down on his sofa, loosened his tie, and was just starting to relax when he heard a mysterious bell start to ring. Then another, and 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 another. It was as though all of his children were trying to contact him at once.
Bloody hell.
But just as quickly as they'd started, the bells fell silent, only to be replaced by a dragging, clinking noise, like someone hauling a bag of coins over a floor of gold. Boris's hair stood on end even more than usual when through the wall came the ghostly figure of Donald Trump.
Boris, it's me, the ghost of Donald Trump's career.
The ghost dragged behind him many, many bags of gold, which so weighed him down that he was bent over almost double.
Good God! Boris, I come here to tell you that you will be visited by 3 apparitions this night. The ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas future. What? Why? You must make amends, Boris, or you'll end up like me.
The ghost of Donald Trump's career began to fade into nothing. Boris tried to stop him.
Wait! Tell me more!
But it was too late. In a puff of ochre smoke, Donald Trump was gone, leaving only the faintest whiff of desperation behind. Boris sat in bed, thoroughly unsettled. Could it be the Scotch Egg he'd had at the Parliament bar after work? Or perhaps the 5 bottles of champagne that had gone with it? Or maybe there was something wrong with the wrap Gove had handed him under the toilet cubicle door.
This is ridiculous. I'm going to sleep.
But as he was drifting off, his nose started to detect the unmistakable smell of hairspray.
Boris. Who's there? Boris. Maggie? Yes, Boris. It's me, Margaret Thatcher, the ghost of Christmas past. Come with me.
Before Boris could protest, he suddenly found himself standing in his old housemaster's office in Eton.
What? Shh. Look.
Boris was shocked to see a younger version of himself and his old pal Darius swagger into the office and sit down in front of the housemaster.
Darius went to prison for fraud not long after this. Do you remember? Just after he asked you to find that journalist's address so he could have him beaten up.
Before Boris could deny the factual claim, the housemaster began speaking.
Boris, you sometimes seem affronted when criticised for what amounts to a gross failure of responsibility, and surprised at the same time that you've not been appointed captain of the school. I think you honestly believe that it is churlish of us not to regard you as an exception, one who should be free of the network of obligation which binds everyone else.
See, Boris, you were an insufferable little prick even then. Maggie!
But she was gone, and Boris found himself back in his bed once more. Boris awoke with a jolt, confused to see a familiar face at the end of the bed.
Dom?
Yeah, it's me, Dominic Cummings. I'm not really here, though. I'm the ghost of Christmas present. At least, that's what we can tell the press if I get caught visiting you in Tier 3. Anyway, come on. We're going to someone's house.
But we've told people not to mix indoors.
My eyesight's feeling a little rusty. Best have a drive to make sure.
A quick trip in Dom's Land Rover Discovery brought them to a small terraced house. Dominic strode confidently inside, dragging Boris behind. They alighted in a small living room, where a woman sat crying on her sofa, talking to someone on FaceTime. Goodbye, Mum.
Oh, bloody hell.
Humbug. What's the big deal? We're protecting the economy, and if that means some pensioners die, too bad.
Yes, that's true.
Back to yours for a pint.
Okay.
Shall we go skiing this year? Gove's got a little chalet in Val d'Isere. I've heard the powder's great there, if you catch my drift.
Boris rolled over in his bed with a groan, head pounding after the midnight sesh with Dom. Something had awoken him. The sound of his bedroom door creaking open.
Oh, bloody hell, what now?
A tall, hooded figure stood at the end of the bed. It said nothing. Boris sat bolt upright.
Are you the ghost of Christmas future?
The figure nodded and held up what looked like a broadsheet newspaper. It silently pointed to a very small column on a page labelled Obituaries. Boris read the words aloud, real fear striking his heart for the first time that evening.
Announcing the death of Boris Johnson, long considered one of the worst prime ministers in the country's history. Johnson oversaw more than 60,000 UK deaths during the COVID-19 crisis and pushed through a Brexit that was catastrophic for the UK economy. After being ousted as PM, he eventually went bankrupt when 112 claims of outstanding child support finally caught up with him. He died in relative obscurity. Good God. But if I'm not PM anymore, then who?
The ghost of Christmas future slowly pulled back its hood to reveal...
Keir Starmer?
Boris awoke screaming. He flew out of his bed and ran to the window, throwing it open.
You there, peasant! What day is it?
It's Christmas Day 2020, you arsehole.
Oh, thank God. There's still time. I have to reverse everything I've done.
Boris grabbed his mobile to call Rishi's number, but it started ringing before he could dial.
Hello?
Boris, Merry Christmas. We trust you are proceeding as instructed.
Oh, bollocks.